Amen.
Amen. All right, now we'll sing the Lord's Prayer. But now we'll sing, wait a minute.
Here, number 9 in the song.
No, that's the wrong one. The scriptural reading is going to be from 1 Corinthians, verses 20 to 26 and verses 35 to 55. But now Christ is risen from the dead and has become the first fruit of those who have fallen asleep. For since by man came death, by man also came the resurrection of the dead. For as in Adam all die, even so in Christ shall all be made alive. But each one in his own order. Christ the firstfruits, afterwards those who are Christ at his coming. But someone will say, how are the dead raised up? And with what body do they come? Foolish ones. What you sow is not made alive unless it dies. And what you sow, you do not sow that body that shall be but mere grain, perhaps wheat or some other grain. But God gives it a body as he pleases, and to each seed its own body. All is flesh. All flesh is not the same flesh, but there is one kind of flesh of men, another kind of flesh of beast, another of fish, and another of the birds. There are also celestial bodies and terrestrial bodies, but the glory of the celestial is one, and the glory of the terrestrial is another. There is one glory of the sun, another glory of the moon, and another glory of the stars. For one star differs from another star in glory. So also is the resurrection of the dead. The body is sown in corruption, it is raised in incorruption. It is sown in dishonor, it is raised in glory. It is sown in weakness, it is raised in power. It is sown a natural body, it is raised as a spiritual body. There is a natural body and there is a spiritual body. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, became a living being. The last Adam became a life-giving spirit. However, the spiritual is not first, but the natural. And afterwards the spiritual. The first man was of the earth, made of dust. The second man is the Lord from heaven. And as was the man of dust, so are those who are made of the dust. As in the heavenly man, so are those who are heavenly. And as we have borne the image of the man of dust, we shall also bear the image of the heavenly man. And now I say this, brethren, that flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom of heaven, nor does corruption inherit incorruption. Behold, I tell you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. In a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet. For the trumpet will sound, and the dead will be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed. For this corruptible must put on its incorruption, and this mortal must put on its immortality. So when the corruptible has put on incorruption and the mortal has put on immortality, then shall be brought to pass the saying that is written, O death, where is thy sting? O Hades, where is thy victory? All right. We did the hymn. Okay. Okay, my title for the sermon today is where did we come from and where are we going? We, all of us here, we are the fallen angels talked about. We are pure spiritual beings. Even though now we have taken on a physical form, there is a spirit within us. And we must do what we can to keep remembering this. We forget, we think we're just physical, but there's a much more powerful being within inside of us. We started, if you get into the Genesis in the Bible, you get into Edgar Cayce, you realize that we started out as angels. And what happened was we got caught in our creations. We, with other angels and spirits, created all that there is in union with God. He gave us the power to do this. He gave us power over the earth, if you will. And we got trapped in our creations. We got trapped in the fleshy part of it. I mean, you can read in the Garden of Eden what happened, and basically what happened is that they were given free will. And we have free will, which means if we want, we can spit in the eye of God. It doesn't stop Him loving us, but we can still do it. So basically, we got caught in these fleshy bodies, and what it took to get out of them was we had to die. That's the way we get released now. Until we become more in one with God, then we won't be coming back here anymore. So the main thing about the Garden of Eden is that we were given free will, and that's basically we used it how we wanted to. We made a mistake, so here we are. So now we got to work hard at working our way back. Adam and Eve in the garden. If you get into Edgar Cayce, which I believe was a modern-day prophet, Adam and Eve, Adam is Jesus Christ. And Adam worked through many lifetimes to perfect himself as Jesus Christ, just the way Eve worked through many lifetimes to perfect herself as being the mother of Jesus. In the beginning at the tree, Mary, it was through Eve when she more or less, it's an apple, it's a symbol. It's a symbol for free world. It's a symbol. The tree was the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Okay, we didn't know that before the apple's just a symbol. Before we got into that consciousness, we didn't know good and evil. Okay? We were in bliss, total bliss, which is where we're heading back to, by the way. We're just working our way through it. Even Adam had to work his way through many lifetimes to perfect himself to become Jesus Christ. And Mary was the one, or Eve was the one that tempted Adam. Therefore, Mary had to be the one that said, "Be it done unto me according to thy will." So it's like everything has come full circle in the form of Jesus Christ. It's through Adam we fell. It's through Jesus that we got grace. Okay. Edgar Cayce has a book on that. He gives the lifetimes that Jesus went through to perfect himself. Okay. There's a passage in the Bible, unless the grain of wheat falls to the ground and dies, it remains alive. All you have to do to understand the cycles of life and things is look out your door. The seasons of life, we have spring, summer, autumn, winter. And we go through those seasons in our life. We also go through those seasons with reincarnation. We come in here, we're spirit beings, we are born, we come in to work on something, okay? But these physical bodies are not made to be here. They're not made to last forever. They're going to try to make that happen, but they're not. It's all part of a cycle of thing. That would be like if a tree didn't blossom, it wouldn't have a seed, and it literally would extinct itself. So it's all in the cycle of things. The main thing is we are spiritual beings having a physical experience. It is not the other way around. We're not physical beings having a spiritual experience. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. It's important you get that straight because it gives us power. We understand that this was never meant on this planet to be here forever. I mean, we try to do it with surgeries and everything else, but it's all in the cycle of things. As a matter of fact, it's actually better over there than it is here. Okay, I'll get into that a little. The spiritual being, what is it? It's love, joy, peace, caring, sharing, all kinds of positive things. That's your soul. That's your spiritual being. The physical being is the flesh, the physical. It deals with all the negatives of life, the addiction, the anger, the greed, the power, the sickness, things and stuff, and a lot of material things. That's all part of your physical existence. Okay, so we come to work through these things. When we took on a physical body, we had to come to work through these things. And the power that we're given is what you feel is what you attract to yourself. Wherever your head is most of the time is where your body's going to follow after that. And part of being spiritual beings is that we have this power that thought creates. I mean, you might not realize it consciously, but your subconscious mind is constantly thinking things. Sometimes it's just caught in a loop. And something happened in the past. If you stay in a loop, you never got over it. So you just keep repeating the same thing out there because it starts from here out, not from there backwards. There's a tendency for human beings to believe that they start from out there. Something happens out there and you react to it. But actually, deep down inside, it's happening here. The fear or whatever it is you're working on is in here, and you project it out and you draw different people into your life to play that role out. It's like Shakespeare said, it's a stage, and it is a stage. What we are here to do, and basically every one of us, is, first of all, we're not here to fix other people. And there's a lot of people that are always trying to fix other people, and that's not what we're here to do. One of the reasons that's not such a good thing is because we don't fix the person that we're supposed to be working on, and that's ourselves. We project it all out there. You meet you. I mean, Edgar Cayce said something about go to the third party and look at your life and watch what's going on. These people that come into your life that cause these situations, whether they're positive or negative, they are your teachers. The reaction that you take towards these people is coming from you. It's not coming from them. The old saying is, if you're upset, it's your issue. You can blame it, project it, and do anything you want onto somebody else. But you're the one that's feeling the emotion. Therefore, you're the one that can fix it or cure it or deal with it or try to understand what it's about. And this is something from Cayce, Edgar Cayce, from his material, which is pretty good. It's called Life is Purposeful. Life is not a chance situation, either in an individual or a universal sense. The ultimate purpose of our life is to rejoin God in conscious participation of divinity. We are one. We are all one. With it in the beginning, we departed from it. Out of ignorance, attachment to materiality, and out of a sense of separateness, pride, or selfishness. So basically, that's what got us here, and that's what put us in these physical bodies. And we're working our way back again to the oneness. And basically, we come to earth to have these drama and situations, to realize what it is we don't need anymore, not what we need. It's what we don't need is what we're learning down here. Because really all we need is the oneness of God and to be in the oneness of God. That's all it's always really all about. To give you an example, the sun and the moon. You look at the moon, it has its light. That's kind of like the physical body. But the moon has no lights of its own. It's a reflection of the sun. And if you think of the sun as your spiritual being, you'll get an idea. We have a tendency to look at the moon and say that's the moon or your physical body and this is all there is. Well, no. You have a spiritual being, a soul within you that's animating you, and once that soul leaves, that body's over with. So that goes on forever, is the point I want to make. But again, the moon has no light of its own. It's a reflection of the sun. So we are a reflection, basically, of our soul's purpose on the earth. All right, got one more thing to read. This is from the Casey readings, too. There's a couple more things I want to get out. Don't ever begin to feel sorry for yourself or think that someone has mistreated you. What you sow, you reap. Remember, others will never mistreat you if you never mistreat someone else. It isn't nature, for like begets like. And basically that says, whatever you're putting out, it's got to come back to you. And it might not in this lifetime, it might in another lifetime. But whatever you put out, that's where we have the power. We are creators. Whether we realize it or not, it's in our own little universe, but we are the creators of what goes on in our life. And here's another thing I'll read too. Know that in whatever state you find yourself, that at that moment it's best for you. Do not look back upon what might have been. Rather, lift up, look up now, where you are. And which brings you to the point that now is all there really is. I mean, there is no past. The past is gone. It's over. And like I say, you can't, should have done anything. When it's over, it's over. You should do something in the future, but you can't, should have done anything. Okay, so to go back and look on something and to let that hold you up in life, it's kind of insane because you can't change the past. All you can do is work on what's in your head now because that's going to create your future. And every day, it's a gift, but it's also a learning lesson. And we can go through this if we see it. It's fun. I mean, in a way, I know it's not fun sometimes, but it's all the way you want to look at it because things happen to all of us. That's life. But it's your attitude towards life, which is what's going to make the difference. Is the glass half full or is it half empty? That's a choice that you make. You can blame everybody else for your choices, but you're the one that's really making the choice. Matthew in the Bible 7:1-4, it says, "Judge not so that you will not be judged. For with what judgment you judge, you will be judged." Again, like begets like. Whatever you put out, it's got to come back to you. And the first thing about real spiritual growth is you stop blaming everybody else. That's number one. And you bring it home to yourself and you realize, I create my own reality. I have power with my thoughts. Because you get the thought and then you get the emotion. Sometimes it's the other way around. But just so you understand that you are the creator and these things out in your life are not happening by accident. I mean, the thoughts you're putting out might be happening on a subconscious level that you're not aware of, but that's why you need prayer and meditation. So you come back to find out what you're really thinking. And you stop that loop so it just doesn't go on and on and on. The golden rule, again, I say this all the time. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's very simple. That's life. Whatever you put out, it's coming back. Don't do it if you don't want it to be done to you. Karma, the continuity principle. A positive trait or talent can build through lifetimes. Mozart's an example. I think he was writing songs or music scores when he was like 7 years old or something. This is how we gain these talents. We build up over lifetimes. We just don't happen. Or that young girl that just made it, what's her name? Ivanovich. The little girl that sings so beautifully. Yeah, that's another example. She just didn't happen this lifetime. She's done this in other lifetimes. Okay. And the other part of karma is the retribution distributive principle, and that's a negative or trait or conduct. It must be corrected by the law of action and reaction. It must be released or changed to a higher purpose. So we're all working on our stuff. Here's a saying I like to say too. Dream as if you will live forever, but live as if you will die tomorrow. I mean, there was just a big thing on the news about that dump truck that ran on the Jersey Turnpike. I'm sure when he woke up that day, he didn't say, this is the last day of my life. And that's why it's so important that we understand that we're not here forever. So it's all the way we want to treat ourselves and all the way we want to treat other people in our life. And, the other thing is, put up your treasure in heaven. I think that's in the Bible too. You want to be, more or less you want to be making points. Okay? Because when it comes to the judgment, which I'll get to live your dream, whatever it may be, to give to, what are you waiting for? To live your dream, whatever it may be, to give of yourself to others, to stop worrying about tomorrow. Let's get that. Okay. And we're only here a certain amount of time. And then we got to put this body aside. That's what the scriptural reading was about. Death. Let's talk about death, because everybody here is going to go through it. You don't get out of here alive, is what I like to say, okay? And we're all going to walk that path. And I think it's a good thing that you come to that fact before you have to come to that fact. Because if you come to that fact and really understand that this is only temporary, it can have a tendency where you'll live your life different. If you think you're going on forever, there's a tendency not to be too nice sometimes, okay? Or if you don't believe in karma. But if you realize whatever you're putting out is coming back and you're not going to be here forever, you might be nicer to yourself and others. But think of death as sleep. We say that on stones, rest in peace. It is and it isn't. It's, when you go to sleep, you lose consciousness. I mean, the best point is that point between waking and sleeping, where we're still conscious enough to feel it and we're not totally into the sleep pattern. That's when you can do all your affirmations too. It's the best time to do it because your mind is so open. But what happens when you go to sleep? You close your eyes and you wake up the next day. Where were you all that night? Where were you? Well, basically where you were, sometimes you go out of your body. I mean, a lot of people, dreams in many ways are going out of your body. Okay, but what I'm saying is when you put the physical aside, you go into another consciousness. Now, the difference between death and sleep is, first of all, the cord gets cut at death. I'll read that verse about the golden bowl being shattered. This is, remember your Creator before the silver cord is loosed, or the golden bowl is broken, or the pitcher shattered at the fountain, or the wheel broken at the well. The cord is your silver cord. The golden bowl is your aura. The wheels broken at the well is your spinning chakra wheels. That's what this is really talking about. Then the dust will return to the earth as it was, and the spirit will return to who gave it. Okay, let's go into the afterlife now. The afterlife is a dream-like state type of world. First of all, it's a different dimension than here on earth. First, there's no time or space there either. They don't exist there. Time and space only exist to us down here in a three-dimensional world. But when you put your body aside, you're going into other dimensions. So it's not the same. As a matter of fact, you're more aware of everything. And death comes to us in its own due time. No one escapes. Death is not a destroyer unless we make it a destroyer. these bodies that we have on these physical bodies that were never meant to be forever, this is not where we belong. We belong back in the oneness again, and we're all working our way to do that. This is, I don't want to say vacation, it can be, but sometimes it's not. This is just temporary, and understand that about your life, because you might live it different if you really realize that this doesn't go on forever. And for people with hardship, I say, thank God it doesn't go on forever, you know? But just think of the seasons. And if you look at nature, it's right out there. You have the spring, you have the summer, you have the fall, and you have winter. And our souls, through reincarnation, we go through that cycle. Okay, the afterlife, where do we go? Okay. Let's go through the experience of dying first. First, we lose physical functions. Then, I'm getting this information. There are thousands of near-death experiences. There are all kinds of books written on this. And this is people who have been clinically dead. The brain waves have stopped, the heart has stopped. And they come back, though. For some reason or another, they come back, and they give stories. And we have thousands of people now talk about this. Before, they were always afraid to talk about it. Now, and there's a lot of similarities between all these reports of what the experience these people have, and that's what I want to give you here. You lose physical function. You are floating above your body, looking down at your body. Then what happens is there's a tunnel. Sometimes it's light, sometimes it's dark. Sometimes there's a noise attached to it. People have heard whistling, buzzing sounds. But this tunnel comes up, they go through the tunnel. They're compelled to go through this. Now, you've left your body behind. You've actually jumped into another state of consciousness. Okay. And I think when you go through the tunnel, you're going to other dimensions after that, where time and space don't exist. It's gone. And there's always a very bright light at the end of the tunnel. There's usually a guide there to help you because you're going to be confused and stuff. Usually, the spirits have the most trouble if you die violently and very quickly. They have been known to hang around accidents. They have been known not to even know they're dead for a while. Because, see, you take yourself with you. You know, your consciousness is there. You see things going on. You don't know you don't have a physical body anymore. But anyway. You meet with a spiritual guide who communicates with you telepathically. There are no words. You don't have a physical body anymore, so there can't be words anymore. So it's telecommunications. You meet with your if you die. Sometimes you do this anyway. You meet with your family and friends. They are over on the other side of this tunnel. They are there. Your pets that you love so much, they are there too. It's the ones that have passed over before you. They meet you there. You have a spiritual guide there to help you through it. These people that have come back from the near-death experiences, they're told you have to go back. It's not your time yet. So the cord is never really cut. The silver cord isn't totally cut. When it is, that means you're staying there. Most of the people that come back, they have to be almost forced to come back. They don't want to come back because they're in such a state of ecstasy there, and they realize how, when you put that physical body back on again, how hard it is. So this is what happens. You meet a guide. There's usually very, very bright light, brighter than you've ever seen. You have your family and friends there. Here's an interesting thing, that when you die and go over there, it's like somebody was born here. They're saying, hey, they're back, you're back, thank God you're back. Here they go, oh, they left. And it's just the other way around. When we have a birth there, they're crying over there, oh, you got to go down to that earth again? You poor soul. Okay, so it's all the way you want to look at it. Okay. Then you have what's called the judgment. Now let's get this straight too. The judgment is you judge you. God doesn't judge you. And the way you are judged is every thought, every emotion, every action that you had, and the things that you've done to others, you are put in their shoes. You feel what they felt, both positive and negative. If you help somebody, you get that feeling of how grateful they were. If you hurt somebody, you literally are walking in their shoes about what they felt there. Okay? There's no God or punishment or any of this kind of stuff. We are our own worst critic anyway, so we're going to be a lot tougher on ourselves than God ever would be. But anyway, that's what the judgment really is. And then you rest for a while. The Catholic Church has called it purgatory. Mediums used to call it the desire world. It's now you've changed consciousness. You're in another consciousness. There's no time or space. And you basically deabsorb all the stuff that went on when you were down here on the earth. You let go of those feelings. You forgive yourself. You forgive others. There's no bullshit over there. You can't snow anybody over there anymore, okay? Excuse that word. But you can't, okay? The snow jobs are over, okay? This is you meeting you over there, and this is promise. It's being really real with yourself. Then you get a rest. Okay? What else happens? Yeah. Other souls will be there to help you. You just rest. Souls are there is no judging of others in this land of God, only of self. Souls are too busy coming to terms with their own mistakes to point fingers at anyone else. You're in a state of honesty, directness, calmness, patience, beauty, safeness. There is no fooling them up there. When you crossed over, you advanced to higher levels of love and peace. It's all the cares and all the worries about the stuff you had on the earth, it's gone. You're just in a state of, in a way, ecstasy, okay, and you're just resting. It says you don't have to do anything anymore. You don't have to be anywhere anymore. You're just resting, okay? Then, okay, in this world of heaven, you realize that you and only you are responsible for your feelings and the actions on earth. In other words, the buck stops with you. After that, there's a choice. You deabsorb, the mediums call it the desire world, which means you get rid of all your desires. And you want to get rid of your bad habits, too, because you take them with you. Okay? Guess what? But you ain't got a body to work them through anymore. That's got to be rough. Okay? Just say you smoke. You're still going to want a cigarette. Yeah, it's Nancy. And guess what? You ain't got no body to put it in, okay? There's confusion for you, right? So you come down and you hang around smokers, right? To feel what they're feeling. That's what we do, you know. And people that have alcohol problems will hang in bars. And they want to be around people that are inebriated. But they got to release